Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm talking about my squash. For the first time I decided to plant squash in a bucket. I've never done it before. I usually plant it directly in the garden, but I decided to try, plant it in this bucket and see how it does. So this is the squash I planted in the bucket. As you can see, it did very well. It's looking good, but the only thing is that it's beginning to have the mildew on it. Well, that's one of the common problems that the squash faces, and the zucchinis and the squash. At some point they start to have the mildew on it, but it doesn't affect the plant. It doesn't affect the fruit. So I mean, if it's not much, I just leave it alone. But if it's like getting too much, then you want to treat it with something. I've never treated my zucchini or squash before. I've never had to spray it because the mildew, they usually occur at the end, towards the end of the season anyway. So I didn't have to do anything. But this one is still producing. As you can see, there's a little squash right here that's coming up, and there's another one. I think this little squash plant is going to support those two fruits. So far, I've gotten 4 squash from this plant, which is not bad. So when you're an urban gardener, you don't have space. Space is limited, but you can still grow something. You can still grow your vegetables in a pot. And yeah, some people do that, but most people never think of growing things like zucchini or squash in a pot. So this is just letting you know that you can actually do that. But to grow squash successfully in a pot, there are 3 things that you have to be conscious of. First, you have to have adequate container. You can see this container. This container is small, which I'm surprised that it did so well. This container is small. You want to have about 5. You want to grow your squash in a 5-gallon container. So 5-gallon container will give it adequate space to be able to, for the roots to spread out and for the root to go down. So number 2, to achieve reasonable success with growing your squash in a bucket, you have to have a well-drained soil. When I started putting this together to prepare my container and to prepare my soil, I put some rocks at the bottom, and then I put a mesh over it. The mesh helps the roots not to get tangled in the stones, so that also helps in the drainage. Then the 3rd thing is adequate care. What you want to do to care for this plant is to water it appropriately. It doesn't like to be too dry, and container gardening is very challenging because the containers, they dry up so fast. So you have to water it regularly and make sure that you put it in a place that gets like 6 to 7 hours of sun per day. So what kind of what kind of squash can you plant in a container? Apparently there are different varieties that are good for container plantings, like the bush acorn, the black magic zucchini. Ooh, black magic. That's funny. Black magic zucchini. Which one are you? Do you know? Are you the magic one, or are you the crooked neck one? I don't. The plant doesn't know, and I don't know. So we just take care of each other. I take care of it. It takes care of me, and then we're all set. As I said, to have adequate success with your container squash or zucchini plant, you have to have the right container. Let's talk about the container. So you need a 5-gallon container. This container is less than 5 gallons, more like something like this. This is like a bigger bucket. This is a bigger bucket that you can use, like 5 gallons. You can put the soil, but then you want to make sure that you make some holes for drainage. You want to make some holes for drainage at the bottom. You want to put some rocks inside, to promote the drainage of the soil. And then you want to put the mesh to prevent the roots of the plant from clogging the drainage holes. So the roots of the plant is not going to clog the drainage hole, so you can maintain that drainage in the soil. So what kind of soil do you use? The best soil mix is loose, well-drained organic soil. For me, I just use potting soil and I use my organic manure. I put it in, and that's what I use to grow this squash. So now, how do you care for this container squash? You have to put it in a place that has 6 to 7 hours of sun, and then you have to make sure that you stake it. But for me, so far, I don't have to stake this. I don't need to stake it because you can see it's still growing vertically, and growing vertically allows the plant to aerate itself more, and it allows the sun to get into all parts of the plant. Helps with drying up the leaves. As you can see, the mildew has been slow to come. So now, as you know, container plants, they dry up so fast, so you need to water them as soon as you think that they are dry. You can do the water test on them. You can actually see it. This is what it looks like when it's happy. It's got enough water. Now I'm looking at this plant and I see that it still has a lot of leaves on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prune the leaves, just take a few off. As you can see, this zucchini that's coming up here, I'm going to give it, more energy to develop this fruit and to develop this little one that's coming. So what I want to do is to prune the bottom leaves and take them off. So I'm taking this one off. Yeah, I've taken a couple leaves off. So if you can get closer in here, I will show you what is happening at the bottom. If you look at the bottom, you will see the roots. These are the roots that are coming up. So they've come to the surface. So right now I need to put some soil to cover that root because it's not good that this root is exposed. It's going to be damaged by the sun. And you can see that this squash plant has bifurcated here. It has another shoot, like a sucker, that's coming up here on this side. So I can take that one off because I don't need that. I don't need that right now. I just need this main stem right here. So I'm going to take that sucker out. So I'm going to cover that up. I'm going to just add more soil to cover the roots, and then I'm going to water it. I'm going to give it a drink. Yeah, so what is left is to take this out and just cut that off. That branch is not producing anything, so I can take it off. And that will be it. So also in caring for the plant, you want to make sure that you check out for any branches that's coming on any branches that's coming up. Like if you look closely, you will see that this little plant has bifurcated. So now it has 2 branches. So what you want to do is to make sure that you cut off one of the branches. There's no need for it to have 2 branches. It's just in a little bucket. If I cut off that branch and also cut off some of the leaves, because you don't need a lot of leaves on the plant, it's going to help this zucchini that's coming up. It's going to help it to develop the fruits faster, and it's going to help this little one to develop the fruits. I need this fruit developed. I don't need this branch. This branch is not producing anything right now. It's just there taking up resources. So I'm just going to cut it out. So this is how much that is in there. There's no need for this to be there at all. So now I've taken it off, and the plant is going to concentrate on this main branch and then develop that fruit. So I want to put this away. Yeah, so the roots is covered, and I think the leaves are still okay. And the roots are covered, so that will be it for now. Just all that needs right now is just to water it, and then it will be all set. I want to thank you for joining me today, for sharing my experience with the container squash. If you've never considered, growing squash in a container, it's doable. And if you follow those simple rules, just get the right container, get the right soil, and then properly care for it, as following the tips I've just shared with you, then you should be okay. Until next time, keep planting, keep learning, and keep growing. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and click the notification button so that when I upload any videos, you know about it. So keep planting, keep learning, and keep growing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.